caseloads have led to poor morale and high turnover, in addition to a backlog of cases. I believe it is my job as your governor to ensure that you have the respect you deserve and the resources you need to succeed. That's why I included additional funding for social workers in my first budget, seeking nearly $31.6 million to add 350 additional social workers over 2 years. Last year, my budget earmarked more than $7 million to fund additional social workers and retention measures. I've also sought salary increases for all state workers, including social workers. I'm sorry to say that in these instances, the General Assembly did not agree and did not provide anything in the place of those areas of the budget that they removed. I could not disagree more. Right now, we're hard at work on our latest budget proposal. And I do see legislators like Senator Jimmy Higdon recognizing this issue and expressing to me and to others that he's ready to push for real change. I can guarantee you funding for our social workers is going to be a part of our next budget as well. But with the loss of so many great workers, this can't wait. This work is too important, and our needs are too great to sit on our hands until January or even until July when the fiscal year starts next year. So, for the exciting part. After a review of our current budgeting, good work done by Secretary Friedlander and our State Budget Director, John Hicks, I'm happy to announce 2 immediate initiatives and 1 announcement about the next budget that will greatly enhance the lives of our social workers and who they serve, the first 2 pretty much right now. First off, beginning December 16th, all social workers and family support staff will receive a 10% raise. To make this happen, we are bumping all of our social worker and family support salaries up 1 classification grade. That means folks across state government agencies filling these roles will receive an immediate 10% pay hike starting on December the 16th. We are able to do this within our current budget. Unfortunately, part of the reason we're able to do this is we've lost so many social workers. But knowing we have to stop that right now, and this being a big piece of it. Yes, salaries are a big piece of the puzzle, but they're not the only piece. We're also working to expand the rank of our social workers and family support specialists by expediting the hiring process. In our meeting, these great social workers, leaders, raised this as a specific issue that we needed to address, and it was one of the top issues that they raised. So, as part of a pilot program, our Cabinet for Health and Family Services is working to hire entry-level social workers and family support specialists within 7 days of them applying. This is a major change. I think it's been described to me as light years faster and represents a strong push to get more folks in and up to speed quickly. If this work appeals to you out there, apply. Apply today, and you can be hired in a week. So put to the test, put this pilot program to the test. We hope that we see a flood of those applications and we see all of your smiling faces roughly a week later. Another issue that has plagued our social workers that is tied to pay is the requirement that they attend school and earn multiple degrees throughout their career. And no one complains about that requirement for the requirement itself. We need highly educated, compassionate, well-trained individuals to be able to deal with the most difficult situations. But with where our pay has been, simply paying off your loans doesn't leave enough to support your family. And as we look forward into the future, knowing in this next budget that we need specific retention efforts for our social workers, for our teachers, and for our nurses, I'm announcing today that in the upcoming budget, I will include a loan forgiveness program for our state social workers. In the time of COVID-19, we've talked about our difficulties, but we also feel an incredible optimism. Being on the cusp of an era of prosperity, an economy on fire, Kentucky not being the flyover state, but being the destination. In every region that these individuals work, we're seeing new and bigger opportunities than we have ever seen. Just think about it. As we sit here today, Amazon and Ford's largest projects in their history are in the same state, the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But if we are going to truly embrace our destiny, and I think it is, of being an economic leader in the post-COVID era, we need strong families. We need strong people. We need a strong workforce, which means we need a strong group of social workers that are out there helping to address our challenges and to help build better people, which is, I think, what they try to do every single day. I want to add that they are frontline heroes, and they will also be included, yes, and they will also be included in any recommendation this administration makes on hero pay. You've more than earned it. And so with that, let me introduce one of the gentlemen that helped make that happen, Cabinet for Health and Family Services Secretary Eric Friedlander, to hear more about the reason these steps are needed. Eric?
Thank you, Governor, and thank you. You have demonstrated unwavering support for social workers. Your two budgets today, thank you. We are in your debt. Commissioner Straub, Deputy Commissioner Dennis, thank you for your leadership. Most importantly, thank you for your advocacy. You have made a difference here. You know you've made a difference here. And most importantly, you know you make a difference in the lives of every Kentuckian you come in contact with. You make a difference in communities. You make a difference for families and children. You do it as a part of your daily job. It's why I refer to what you do and your roles in the cabinet as you are our everyday heroes. You make a difference in communities all the time. The family support side of this, you are primary prevention. The social worker side of this, you go into, the governor said it so well, you go in where other people won't go. And for those of you thinking about joining us, which we want you to, when you're a part of this team, you get to wake up every day with the opportunity to change someone's life. That primary intervention, the secondary intervention, the making the difference in children's lives and families' lives, that is something you can do. And we talk about that in the cabinet. We talk about the importance of equity. We talk about the importance of resilience. We talk about the importance of our economic support, those SNAP programs, the Medicaid programs. Where would our grocers be without that? Where would our healthcare industry be without that? It is that basic economic support that supports communities across the Commonwealth. Thank you. You make a difference because that's how we get to health and wellness. So join us. And Governor, thank you for your leadership. You have made a difference. You continue to make a difference. Remember to get your COVID booster shot and get vaccinated if you're not wearing a mask, right? But you've made a difference, and you've made Kentucky a better state, a healthier state, and now a more equitable state for those who work. Thank you.
All right, next I get the privilege of introducing a great leader in this community who, along with others that we named, some of whom will speak, came to see me and talked about the reality they face and what they see and their desperate desire to do something about it because of the people that they serve. So Shantae West, MPA, MSW, is the Family Services Office Supervisor, Recruitment and Certification in the Jefferson region. Shantae.
Thank you, Governor. So Thank you for inviting us here today to speak on behalf of social workers and support staff throughout the state. We appreciate any semblance of hope and attention that is being relayed upon the matter of transforming our statewide workforce. I've been a public servant of the Commonwealth of Kentucky for 20 years in February 22. Since the first day that I began working in the Department of Community-Based Services, I, like many others that you see here today, have been dedicated to serving families, children, and vulnerable adults. Social workers like myself and some of the support staff that stand with us today, from family support, adult protective services, and many other workers, we don't do these jobs with the expectation of excessive compensation. Many think that those amongst us who are the helpers, the community builders, we are to expend all of our energy and personal resources to do the work of the Commonwealth that we love. Too often, we have been the first to be cut from the budget and the last to be fully restored and acknowledged when the fortune and well-being of the Commonwealth improves. Today is maybe three, okay, three, important steps in rectifying some of these ills and taking care of those public servants who care for all of us. Too often, social service providers and staff interchange roles with those that we serve in receiving food stamps, cash aid, and medical assistance just to keep our heads above water, and that should never be. As with prior years during the pandemic, the folks that I'm proud to speak on behalf of today have worked continuously and tirelessly through the very first day of the COVID-19 pandemic and continues even today. When the pandemic hit, we packed up our computers, tablets, and notebooks, and we went home to keep working to protect the most vulnerable Kentuckians. Many in our support staff stayed in the office in public-facing positions to ensure that families had access to the most basic resources to maintain them until the Commonwealth was stabilized, when many of us began working at home. I wish I had more time to talk to you today about the wonderful things that this group of people have done to not let our vulnerable Kentuckians fall into utter collapse. So again, thank you, Governor and Secretary Friedlander, and many legislators that have listened to us over the past several months about making improvements that the governor announced today and the ones that will additionally be coming up for votes in the 2022 legislative session. Thank you for this glimmer of hope today to retain, maintain, and build a workforce that loves Kentucky as much as we do. Social workers and social service support staff needs to feel the love back and making sure that we are cared for as we care for others, and we have definitely felt that today. So thank you, Governor.
Oh, thank you, Shantae. Today's announcement, I hope, will make a big difference, but we know there are more steps to take, and my commitment is to keep listening. Those that do this work deserve every bit of time and attention, and we are going to continue to make sure that we can empower them, whether that's how we attract social workers. We certainly want more of you, and the next budget will include additional slots, but also how we can help them do their job better. You know, Scripture tells us, therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just in fact you are doing. Kentucky will continue to grow and to progress as long as we continue to support one another, and that's exactly what the people behind me do for us every single day. So thank you. God bless to all of our social workers and family support specialists, and God bless our Commonwealth. I'll turn it to questions. You all are welcome to stay up here. If I get asked about something else, you might be on camera when that happens. The dollar figure itself is about $15 million. It is already within our budget. In other words, we have $15 million that would have otherwise been paying slots that we have not been able to fill based on loss. It applies to about 3,922 employees across state government. We're able to do that through working with the personnel cabinet by bumping people up a grade. So there is a mechanism to do that as long as there is the budgetary capacity within the budget that was passed to do it, and there is. Now, moving into the next budget, we will want to ensure that even for entry-level social workers, we can see that 10% raise. You will also see a loan forgiveness program and funding for hundreds of new slots, because we need to not only bring back so many people and fill what we have, but I don't want the General Assembly to get in the practice of not pushing for us to have enough workers to get the caseload down to the place that it needs to be. If we're not budgeting every time for getting the caseload to the appropriate place, we're not doing our job.
Do you think negotiations will go differently this year in regards to the budget, in regards to these items? Because I know you mentioned previous years you requested some money and it hasn't gone your way.
I do think that there are more people willing to listen this time around for two reasons. Number one, these social workers have gone to talk to them. They've shown them what they're facing, and the situation has never been as dire as it is. And second, this is now our third year of having a very positive budget situation. Before, they said maybe this is a one-time thing. It is not. Our economy is on fire. Every single revenue source we have in the Commonwealth is up. The dollars are there. There is no excuse not to act, but I say all that believing that it will happen. Well, I think that we not only would have to fill in all the open spots of folks that we've lost, but above and in addition to that, we need to hire at least 300 additional social workers to get the caseload to where it needs to be. That's not going to happen overnight, but again, if we don't get out there and budget for it and include it, then we're admitting failure. We're in dire shape. We're in dire shape, and it's gotten rougher every single day. We do not have the number of social workers we need for the vulnerable folks that need us. Right now, we have too few people and too much need, and there's no question that some needs out there are going unmet. How many slots do you know, Marta, are we down in DCBA? So we've lost over 600 social workers as we come into today. This increase is both for family support and for social workers, and we can even give you the job titles that it applies to. It looks like there are about 15, but the folks who came in, these great leaders, wanted to make sure that everybody that was included. And that was the first question they asked me today when I gave them some of the good news. So if you're part of the family support group, everybody was arguing for you the whole time too. Everybody's in it together. That's a little inter-government. Tom, did you have we got you? Sure. Yeah. So the loan forgiveness program is going to be in the budget. And admittedly, we're still working on it, and we are receiving input. The idea is with all of the degrees that you have to have and the dollars that it takes to get to them, one of the best retention methods we could have is for every year you serve the Commonwealth in this role, we pay off a certain amount of your loans. Now, potentially that could work on scholarship too for new social workers, and then we pay it off over time. But we want to work with these folks that actually see it every day, that have the best idea of how it would work to get it in the best form. But when we look at retention, the lack of a defined benefit for especially our newest hires in state government has been a huge blow to us. People would say, well, people used to come to work for government for less than what they earn in the private sector, and the answer was yes, because you had a great benefit that you could get if you worked for decades on. Without that, we have to better compete in pay with the private sector, and we have to have other retention steps, loan forgiveness at least being one of the best ideas we have right now.
Do you know how much the dollar figure on that?
Not yet, but I will say that you will see either scholarship or loan forgiveness or a combination of that for nurses, for social workers, and for teachers in this next budget.
Governor, last month, social workers rallied on the steps of the Capitol, as I'm sure you're aware. Is this a direct response to that? And would this be taking place right now if that rally had occurred?
Well, the day that rally occurred with a lot of these individuals, we invited the folks that we talked about today into the office because as opposed to just go out and say, I'm with you, I wanted to have a real conversation and to listen. This wouldn't have been happening without the advocacy of our social workers themselves. And just as importantly, I think that what we've done here today will be more effective because they were the ideas directly coming from our workers. These, based on bumping everybody up in classification, that 10% is going to stick. Now, in that next budget, though, as we will be proposing raises for all state workers, certain state workers, we will want to make sure we are bringing in at a competitive rate, especially where we are suffering the most. So we will need help from the General Assembly on the pay side of it. When they see the overall budget numbers where our general fund is, we can afford significant raises for our state employees. This is not the only area that we are losing people in and losing people too fast. And just like I talk about on why we have a masking policy in state government, this is an absolutely necessary workforce that has to be there every day to inspect bridges, to deal with families in crisis, to issue driver's license and so many other things. We have to have a sufficient number of healthy and I hope happy state workers ready to do their very best. All right, thank you all very much.